Hello there. In this video, we will be learning about the average kinetic energy equation. So we will be deriving this equation, but before that, we first need to understand what is the kinetic theory of ideal gas. So the kinetic theory of ideal gas is a scientific model that explains the behavior of a gas by considering them as large number of small particles, that is atoms or molecules, in a constant random motion. Now, for the kinetic theory of ideal gas, there are some key assumptions that are the gas is made up of many small particles that are far apart relative to their size. The second one is the particles are in constant random motion and they collide with each other and the walls of the container. The third is the collisions are perfectly elastic, meaning no energy is lost, the kinetic energy is conserved. The fourth is no intermolecular forces act between the gas particles, they neither attract nor repel. The fifth is the volume of the gas molecules is negligible as compared to the volume of container. And the last assumption is the average kinetic energy of the particle is directly proportional to the absolute temperature in Kelvin. Now, based on these assumptions, we will be deriving the average kinetic energy equation. Let's say this is our gas molecule that is moving in this container with a velocity u. So we can say that u equals to ux I cap. So the component of velocity in the I cap is ux plus uy j cap plus uz k cap. And we can also say that the magnitude of u would be equal to under root of ux square plus uy square plus uz square. So in a way we can say that u square equals to ux square plus uy square plus uz square. So please remember this one because this would be used in the derivation as we proceed. Now let's focus on the motion of this molecule in the x direction. So in the x direction we can say that the velocity of this particle is ux. Since the particle is going in plus x direction, so we can say that the velocity is plus ux. Let's say the particle goes L length, collides with the wall and then rebounds, and since the collision is elastic, so we can say that there is no loss in kinetic energy. So if the particle went with ux speed, so it will be coming back with the ux speed. The only difference is the speed by which it will be coming would be negative, since it is in minus x axis. If we have to find the force that this molecule exerts on the wall, so it would be force is equal to change in momentum divided by change in time. That is, force is equal to rate of change of momentum. So let's say the mass of this molecule is small m. So we can say that the final momentum would be equal to minus of small m into ux, and the initial momentum would be m into ux. And let's say it takes t time, so we can divide this with t. So the answer comes out to be minus of 2m ux divided by t. Now let's say if we are interested to just find the magnitude of the force, so we can just ignore this negative. So we can say that the magnitude of force would be 2m ux divided by t. What we can do is, we know that the particle is traveling L length and the velocity in the x direction is ux. So we can say that speed, that is ux, is equal to distance divided by time. So the distance that the particle takes is L going in this direction and again L in coming back in this direction. So the distance would be 2L divided by time. So we can say that the time would be equal to 2L divided by ux. Now here we can say that the force equals to 2m into ux divided by time, that is 2l divided by ux. So this ux will go in the numerator and it would become ux square. Now this expression we have got in the terms of ux, that is the component of velocity along x direction. But how about if we present this in the terms of u? So what we can say is, we can say that since u square is equal to ux square plus uy square plus uz square, and also in the assumptions of kinetic theory of gas, we have assumed that the particle will go with the equal velocities in all the components. So we can say that this u square would be equal to ux square plus ux square plus ux square, since all are same. So we can write this as 3 times of ux square. So from here we can say that the ux square would come out to be u square divided by 3. So this expression simply comes out to be this 2 and 2 gets cancelled, and instead of ux square we can write u square by 3. So it comes out to be m times u square divided by 3 divided by L. Now please remember, this is the force that has come out because of just one molecule. Now, let's try to find out the force due to all the molecules in this volume. Let's say in this volume, the total number of molecules is small n. This is the force by one molecule. So the net force by all the molecules combined, so F total would be equal to, so let's say the velocities are u1 for one molecule, u2 for another, and since we have n number of molecules, so it would be un for the nth molecule. So we can say that the force would be equal to m into u1 square divided by 3l plus m into u2 square divided by 3l and so on till m into un square divided by 3l. So as you can see here, I can take m by 3l as common and we can write this as m divided by 3l times u1 square plus u2 square till about un square. Let's say we divide this with n and multiply this with n. Now, if you carefully look at this particular quantity, isn't this the square of URMS? Because we know that URMS, that is root mean square velocity, is if we square the velocities, take the mean and then take the under root. But now since it is not the under root, so it would be the square of root mean square velocity. We can write this expression as mn divided by 3l multiplied by URMS square. Now this is the force that we have got because of n molecules. Let's try to find out the pressure because of these n molecules. So we know that pressure is equal to force per unit area. Now in this case, if you carefully see, the area would be equal to L square. Since we have assumed it to be cube of side L, so the area would be equal to L square. So we can find the pressure as force per unit area. So we'll divide this with L square. So it comes out to be Nn URMS square divided by 3L into L square. So it becomes L cube. And if you carefully see, L cube is nothing but the volume of that cube. So we can rearrange this equation and we can write that PV, that is pressure times volume, equals to Mn URMS square divided by 3. Now this is what is called the kinetic gas equation, where m is the mass of molecule, n is the number of molecules in that volume, URMS is the root mean square velocity, and this P and V are pressure and volume. Let's find the total kinetic energy of all the molecules. So it would be half into m into u1 square plus half into m into u2 square and so on till half into m into un square. So again we can do that. We can take half m as common. So this entire thing becomes u1 square plus u2 square till about un square, and we can divide by n and multiply by n. So this expression comes out to be URMS square. So the total kinetic energy would be half into m into URMS square times n. And this would be the total kinetic energy. Let's divide this kinetic energy with the earlier equation that we have got, that is PV equals to Mn URMS square divided by 3. So it would be PV is equal to Mn URMS square divided by 3. Now if we solve for this expression, m and n gets cancelled, URMS square gets cancelled, so this thing comes out to be equal to 3 divided by 2. So by simplifying this equation, we can say that the kinetic energy or the average kinetic energy would be equal to 3 by 2 times PV. And this is the formula that we intended to derive, that is the average kinetic energy equation. So we can further simplify this equation since we know that PV is equal to nRT, where n is the number of moles. We can say that the average kinetic energy would be equal to 3 by 2 nRT. Please remember, in this equation n is the number of moles. Now for 1 mole, we can say that the equation becomes the average kinetic energy would be equal to 3 by 2 RT. So this is for 1 mole. And since we know the amount of molecules in 1 mole is equal to the Avogadro's number, we can also find the kinetic energy, the average kinetic energy of 1 molecule. So for 1 molecule, the kinetic energy comes out to be 3 by 2 RT divided by Na. Now, in this expression, R by Na is what we call the Boltzmann constant, that is represented with Kb. So the expression comes out to be 3 by 2 Kb multiplied by T. So this is the expression for the average kinetic energy for one molecule, where Kb is the Boltzmann constant and the value is 1.38 times 10 raised to the power minus 23 joule per Kelvin, and temperature is the absolute temperature measured in Kelvin. I hope you are now clear with the average kinetic energy equation calculation. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.